Flag salute. I'd like to ask Mark Lamar to lead us in prayer.
Thank you. Hey, let me just simply, as a minister in this community, and for those that don't know, I graduated Guthrie 81, been around here a long time, pastor a church over in Crescent the last 34 years, and I appreciate you county commissioners starting your meeting by prayer. I don't think we can ever go wrong by acknowledging God's presence and that our dependency is upon Him, and that we're just simply asking Him to guide our affairs. The Word says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart, lean not to thy own understanding, in all thy ways acknowledge Him, and He should direct our path. So, Father, we thank you, Lord, for today. We thank you, Father, for your grace, for your presence, for your goodness. We ask for wisdom. The Bible says, if any man lacks for wisdom, let him ask. We are asking for your intervention, to you to lead, to guide, to show. Thank you for ordering the footsteps, Father, and for, Father, these commissioners and the responsibility that that they have. Father, we are thankful for them. We ask for grace upon the meeting, the citizens, Father, those part of this county that are here, Father. We look to them and are thankful for them and ask for your blessing upon them in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Forgive my rudeness for walking out now. Doing my little part and running.
You're welcome to stay, but if you need to go, that's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for asking.
Item 4, any citizen desiring to be heard? None filed?
None filed.
Item 5, consideration of possible action on the minutes of November 13th, 2023.
I move we approve the minutes.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Item 5, meeting with Allison Enright, CED5 manager, to discuss county projects on CBRI plan. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you, commissioners.
Allison, would you like for us to pull this
We can.
this thing out for you here?
Yeah. There you go.
You make yourself at home.
Thank you. Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. And I'm really just here to answer any questions that you have on projects, to see how I can help you. I know with Charlie, Commissioner Meadows, we've specifically spoken about the I-35 in Waterloo, and I have for both the DE and Rick Allen, the construction engineer. He and I have been messaging this morning, and they are sending me construction plans. So I should have that within the hour, and you know, we can look those over if we need to at some point. And if you have any questions on that specifically, then I can help facilitate with ODOT. I'm happy to do that, to answer any questions or concerns that you might have. Really kind of just here to see what you need of me.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Go ahead.
On that I-35, I think the more important relationship now at this moment is with Oklahoma County, which I think we have. But months and months ago, back in February or whatever, Brandon hadn't heard from them, and I said, I'm telling you, I just talked to the commissioner. They told your office. And anyways, so I know they followed up and said, yeah, we're back on board with our part of that. But we haven't done anything other than what was formally done before either of you or I were on here.
I've had one meeting with ODOT and our contemporaries over in Oklahoma County, and I thought that went very well. Miles is doing a very good job. Certainly wants to be a part of that program where his predecessor pulled out of that program. We're really glad that we're back on with that. One of the things that I have a question for you is, have you heard any more about a start date outside of just 2025 on that?
No.
Okay.
I do know from discussions with Trent in January that it doesn't look like it will advance out of 2025, so it won't be coming any sooner, which honestly might be a blessing because now we have time to prepare. But as far as an actual letting month, I don't know if there's one yet. There might be a tentative month. And as they get closer, they kind of lock that in a little bit more. Typically on stateside, if they schedule a letting month, they're pretty hard about those dates and they try to hit that. So that's something I can ask Rick to see if they have a better idea. But I think we might be a little too far out right now to know that, other than it's 2025.
One thing I know about it is if we can use Oklahoma County's political power, if you will, and ODOT's power over all transportation money, I think we have a fair chance of getting ACOG to fund 80% of that, and the county's only come up with 20%. But I do think it's going to take a stroke from ODOT saying, hey, we want this in your plan. I've never seen them not do what ODOT wants. It'd be much better for all of us if we pay less
And the COGS.
than federal government. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the estimate on this currently?
I forgot money. Do you remember, Charlie?
The only thing I've heard is the initial phase of it's 35 million, but I think.
But that's not the road part.
I think it could run well. Now, as far as our part and Oklahoma County's, it's 3 million, minimum of 3 million, and we have that set aside in the CIRB or CRBI or
Well, I'd much rather.
whatever fund it is that you set it hard in, you know. But in that discussion, there was some, there might have been some utility relocation that we would be responsible for. And of course, there's a Cadillac version, which is what we want to do, as opposed to the scaled down version of that. And that Cadillac version would widen Waterloo a little bit past Pine, a little bit past Sooner, and would also attempt to realign Pine and Air Depot, which are offset right now. They can't be completely lined up, but partly lined up. And then a little bit of four laning, if I understood it correctly, on Air Depot and Pine, and also Sooner, each way on Sooner, with a longer run on Sooner. And there was some utility relocation that needed to be done. And there was some discussion, that was a little over my head at the time, but some discussion on whether or not we would be responsible for paying for that utility relocation, or whether the utilities would be responsible. Do you have any understanding or clarification on that?
What utilities are present? That solely, and Bobby, correct me if I'm wrong, but it depends on whether it's in public or private and what utility it is, plus population. Obviously, you have a large population.
There's some gas lines for sure, and definitely phone lines.
Well, has
Yeah.
right away even been bought for this?
I don't know that any addition has been purchased.
What the big thing is right now is seeing a set of plans. And once you see that, then, you know, I can surely assist you in determining those numbers.
I think all right-of-ways purchased on Waterloo, but I probably will have to purchase some right-of-way on Sooner going north.
Can I say,
Sure.
just because you and Mark weren't here when this first went on the plan,
Mm-hmm.
and I want it to be clear, we keep saying I-35 and Waterloo, and I want people to understand we're not talking the interchange. And I think that that's kind of what's getting confused a little bit. That's a state project. We're talking from Sooner Road to Pine on Waterloo.
Right.
That plan that went on as I remember, when ODOT came, ODOT offered, they will provide the design at no cost because they're already out there. Oklahoma County, Logan County have to bear the cost of making that plan happen. At that time, the discussion was the need for right-of-way. There's concern about a cemetery and the convenience store, and where that could be negotiated in at that intersection and sooner. We have, based on estimates back then that I'm sure are no longer valid, it's been so long, we were committing $3 million on our SERB 5-year plan. Oklahoma County was to match in hopes that that $6 million would cover that mile of road. So that is, as far as I know, exactly where this is now. We have not bought right away. Design's not done.
Yeah.
Nothing.
The part of the discussion is it could go beyond that 3 million, possibly up to 3.5 million. And I like your idea, Mark. There,
It's worth a shot. You don't go fishing, you don't catch fish.
That's right.
I would say let's bring in conversations with Matt Benocken first. He's your program coordinator for the ACOG programs as well as your TAP, but that would be irrelevant in this situation. I would say Matt Benocken, let's start conversations with him and let him be our ally in this when we approach the COG to see if we can get funding in
In
that.
your conversation, did they happen to mention whether they designed it? ODOT was gonna design it.
So, my conversation with Trent in January was, excuse me, I'm tongue-tied this morning.
Right.
And at the time, I didn't have much knowledge on this project, so if I'm getting things mixed up, forgive me. We had everybody to the table, Oklahoma County, Logan County, and then there was kind of a dead period there where there wasn't communication with the county and ODOT on both sides, Oklahoma County and Logan County. And there came a point, he said, where they could not sit any longer without a decision and they had to move forward. And was supposed to get plans then, still waiting on them, and I reached out again, and I'm supposed to have them within the hour. I haven't received them yet, but I know Big Rick will get them to me. So,
Who, Rick?
Rick Howland.
What'd you?
He's Big Rick.
Never mind.
That's Big Rick. If you've ever seen him, you'll know why.
Charlie, you know how it works.
That's her nickname for you.
Yeah, that's a good story for some other time. But, so I need to see those plans so that we can see what exactly has been developed and, you know, what did the county want that we didn't receive. So Trent stated that some of that is gonna have to be done on the county separate from this project now. So, it's imperative we get those plans so we can take a look and see what exactly still needs to be done. What do we now need to do?
They're not gonna design that roadway, and either us or Oklahoma County, or we need to do it together. We need a designer, we need to see a blueprint on that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Once I get those plans, I'll forward them to you. If we need to
Get those printed, we can get them printed.
and, you know, some form of meeting, whether we meet virtual, sit down, whatever we need to do, we can do that. If we need to pull in Oklahoma County, we can do that. You know, just
I
give me
know
your
at one
direction.
time, and I think it came from the Oklahoma County side, but I think that issue or person is gone. They wanted to do an elaborate Sooner Road. I don't disagree that it ought to be widened at the corner, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be a monstrosity. Move it all over, take that home. There's a lot of roads that come up and curve at a.
So that house that's there on Center there, Mr. Brown that is developing Waterloo Landing had tried to buy that from him and he resisted. But when I talked to Mr. Brown most recently, he has now purchased that and that gentleman can live there as long, or he and his wife can live there as long as they want. I told him I didn't want to have to use eminent domain to take it, and he said, well, he said, I don't think they'll be here much longer, and he said, I own it now. So I said, well, I'll probably have to buy it from you then. And he said, we'll see about that. You know, it helps his development immensely to have that road widened right there. So I would hope to get that for very little money.
So when do you need our updated 5-year plan?
I need to turn it in by the end of March. That's typically been their deadline. They haven't given one yet. We're, heading into it, but I would say historically, just based upon my time there.
My informal vote, I think this board in the last few years have taken it to isolate themselves and turn one in separately, but I would like to develop it along with CED 5.
Well, the reason we didn't do it with CED5 because we wasn't a member of CED5. So.
But even before that, we still were required to prioritize and turn in our own plan. So each county needs to submit what they want, and then CED blends them. So this board still needs to create what we want on our plan.
Correct.
And you help us do that.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So our current plan is Luther Road was prioritized #1, trying to get it done and off the books.
Can you define for me what done means?
Well, it was supposed to be shovel ready, and we were originally told it was gonna let last year. Well, then we come to find out early last year that the engineer on that project that goes back 15 plus years had not updated plans, and was at that time not responding to requests. Because of that, ODOT didn't have what they needed to let the project go to lead, so it got pushed back. I do not know, as I sit here right now, if that issue with that engineer has been resolved and those plans updated. The problem we have with Luther is it's been in the works for almost 20 years.
Let me define what I meant when I asked you to define that. Is I'm looking at 11 miles of Luther. You're talking about the 2 miles to be paved.
Yeah.
So
Two is the only thing on.
It was
the plan.
originally designed at
okay.
6 miles.
So see, I
It has
didn't know
been
that.
back
Yeah. And I signed a notice to proceed for AT&T and CREC about 3 weeks ago. So we're moving on that now.
Yes.
My memory was they were gonna fall out there and do the 2 bridges first and then the roadway later. Not much later.
So the
I'm the
plan,
engineer on that one.
Okay.
Yes, that was the original plan to do that. And then it would be the next one up to camp. But, the first 2 bridges right there at Waterloo, 2 miles, 2 bridges, got the biggest aspect out of the way first.
Yeah.
2 bridges.
You better clarify that.
Yeah.
I'm not the engineer any longer.
Yes.
I was the original designer of that project.
Yeah. Well, and one of the reasons I asked is I applied for 2 REAP grants, and one of them right now we're executing the one that was obtained before I became commissioner. We're executing that one right now to gravel 3 miles from 105 south. I applied for one to go the next 3 miles south and did not obtain that. That's why I was wondering, but now I understand on the 5-year plan, that 2 miles is all that's on it right now.
For Luther.
Yes, for Luther, yeah.
Right, and right away done, utility, the problem is it got pushed back
Yeah.
so much that the NEPA needs redone, and Bobby, we found a deserted pipeline that had to be moved, and but the initial engineering firm, I'll put it that way.
so the designer of record, and I apologize, the designer of record is
Was
Millerberger Bargley or ISG, whichever name
Which
you
one they want to go by this week?
And the lead designer on it is Stephen Frosch. The plans are at 90%. They had updated plans
Okay.
have been provided, and I have looked at them and provided comments back. And waiting on those additional updated plans with the comments. I have extensive experience with ISG. I have faith that I can get those for you. It might be a repeated ask, but we'll
Do we
get
have any hope of it going to let in the spring?
that 100% depends on utilities. You will have to, the county will have to sign an affidavit for utilities. If the utilities are not out by construction, that puts the county on the line for any fees that may incur from that. So the ODOT now requires an affidavit for that. So we can get, what Charlie signed was the NTP for utilities. So,
That's a notice to proceed for them to move that particular utility.
Right. Two different ones, one AT&T and CREC.
So-
It looked to me like CREC pretty well has theirs done, but AT&T probably needs to.
it's,
Another
If
bulldozer
utilities-
can't fix.
progress, it's not an impossible task. It will be challenging, but it's something that we can get done. It's something I have delivered in worse circumstances than this as a project manager. Working closely with Julianne on this at ODOT. So there's a very big question mark on that, and I apologize. It is my goal to push it. It is something Julianne and I have talked about, is let's push it as hard as we can so that we can try to meet that. But the utilities are a big hang up there. As far as NEPA, as long as there's not any environmental impacts, 404, which I don't believe there is an issue with that, I don't see a problem with getting the NEPA back in time to have, it's just a reeval. So I think we can probably be okay off that, especially if we're already starting that process, and that was something Julian and I had talked about. So it is possible. I can't promise you anything.
Yeah.
I'm definitely
But
trying.
we can push to get that
Yes,
one
ma'am.
after excessive. So Luther was number one when we turned in our last serve. Waterloo, Center to Pine, was number two. Then Mark has a bridge on it, and Monty has a bridge on it.
And I think they stuck that box on the Meridian on it, which coincidentally I've gotten 2 phone calls this week over that section of Meridian.
So I think mine's circle number 194. So that's the main project we need to get shut through. We don't care about that.
That Luther Road's just
Senior
been
has
around since served.
My question is, what happened if this Luther Road project's 20 years old? How come, what happened? Did it fall through the shell? I mean, what happened? How come utilities are not moved?
I think Mike thought they were.
We were told it was shovel ready.
Yeah.
So this idea with utilities, I think it's kind of hitting a little new, because we understood it was completely shovel ready for that 2 miles.
I mean, I remember them coming out and moving telephone poles and electric poles.
But Charlie just signed a deal to move the utilities.
I know.
Yep. Those
So I
proceed.
think it's only on that one corner, right?
I don't know.
And in all honesty, it
Pro-
could have happened with the construction out there.
Mhm.
Somebody phone came in and
Mhm.
laid lines for a new housing development, not
Mhm.
knowing that it was gonna end up. So it may
Yeah.
be, you know, I think this project actually started, Jeffrey, 9 or 10.
It was the very first.
It was 2008.
It is when Kevin Leach
Yeah,
was
so they're coming-
commissioner.
It was the first project on the deal. It was from Waterloo all the way up
Go all the way to
to
51.
33 through Langston,
Yeah,
go over 2 miles.
right.
My recollection is the utilities were moved, but since the age of the project, it behooves you to go and
Check it.
check it again.
Yeah.
They might have changed the federal standard on clear zone too.
That is one of the things that I know Julianne is looking at. It needs to go through the ODOT QAQC.
What does that stand for, QAQC?
Quality assurance, quality
thank
control.
you. We had so
Thank
many
you.
acronyms at ODOT, sometimes it takes me a little bit to remember.
Quality assurance is different than quality control, but it's through the same.
Yeah.
They review the plans with a fine tooth comb, they go over, and it goes through several of those. There's a branch that specifically does that. They even look at your hydraulic report if there is a bridge on it, to make sure everything meets. And then they look at your standards, your specs, all of the above. They look at your pay quantities to make sure we have ample quantity there to meet what we're designing. So there's the QAQC branch. They do it at 30, 60, 90%. In this case, it's probably just going to have a 90 because the 30, 60 is a new thing. Your project manager also does one as well.
But District 2 also had a bridge that we did plan in hand, it was ready to go. And I think there was a little right of way on the northeast corner that maybe needed, but that wasn't gonna be a problem. And then Mike went out of office.
Circle number 75.
Swayback Bridge, that's
Yeah.
a circle number?
It was all designed, plan in hand, and going out for utility relocation and right of way. That's where it should be at.
As far as the design on Luther Road, standards have changed. They recently changed within the last couple of years, so that needs to be updated. Those were some of the comments that I provided to them. There were, I believe there were a few X's still in some of the areas that should have, no, my apologies, that's Yuchi. We had two in the same designer, so there were a few items that at 90% we should have numbers in, a few things that were missing, and they need to bring the standards up. But it's nothing, again, that can't be done in the amount of time that we need it to be done. We are, now you've got to remember that ODOT works 3 months in advance. So you turn your plans in for a letting 90 days prior to the letting. So your last possible month to get a letting, and it to hit the fiscal year, they shoot for April, because May comptroller shuts down. It may be encumbered in that year, it may not be. So they shoot for April. The May is a possibility. And then you take 3 months off of that. So I believe January, and we're very close to that. So that's why I say there is a big question mark on that. We can let it in May or June. It's just not going to hit this fiscal year's budget. It's going to roll over into next year's, even though we're still in this fiscal year. It's
Fiscal or transportation year?
Fiscal. State fiscal year. So your state fiscal year is July 1.
Right.
So that would be the only snag, is money-wise on your budget. It's not going to show in this fiscal year. It's going to show in the next one, but that will roll over. You really don't want to roll over the money, but in state, at least we don't lose it.
Well, I think this board, I haven't talked to you, but I think we're ready to move forward on anything, and we want them shovel ready to go in case somebody else isn't and falls off, and we can fall right into
Then you
it.
come right in. Absolutely.
They do they need to do now, like they come in utilities from what we lost.
Yes, but I don't know that we're there yet.
I would recommend to think, get something written up on the board that, yes, utilities are clear of what they got left. You need a definition on that too, not just a phone
Yes.
Clarified.
Mr. Meadows, do you know when they got their NTPs? How long has it been?
About 3 weeks ago.
About 3 weeks. We can probably get that.
Could be 4 weeks ago even.
What Bobby was saying here is he recommends that we get an out-by date from Milberg and Raleigh on when the utilities will be out, and preferably in an email versus verbal.
The utility affidavit, which everybody signs, that says that that utilities will be clear of this project, no conflicts, and have that date on there. And before that, though, before you sign something like that, I'd recommend you actually, something in hard that your engineer tells you, this is what I've got left, show me, this is what they've got to move, show me, okay, I'll be good with it. But right now, it doesn't sound like you've seen something like that. You just got a verbal that, hey, we're moving this over here. But I would follow up behind that so that it doesn't run into a hiccup.
Part of the problem that I encountered from January and February when I was working on that is the federal government started requiring you to have more data, social engineering data. And of course, that project being out there so long, it doesn't have any social engineering on it. It doesn't matter the complexion of the people are the people. But they were wanting that, and of course, in that short period of time of me trying to get those plans updated, there's no way they could come up with new data. They just had to, and those ought to all be done at ODOT, the new updated version, which I don't think still met the new federal requirement.
You're talking about the
Plan sets.
plan sets?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that was what my email with Stephen Frosch was about, was these are not standard. They don't meet.
Yeah, they changed the
ODOT,
standard.
yes,
but
they did. And that seems like sometimes a monthly thing.
Bobby, one problem is as new as I am, this is all new to me. So I've told Allison and Mr. Frosch and anyone else that wants to listen, you got to tell me what I need to do. And if any of it is held up for me, you got to let me know so I go ahead and do it, because I don't know what this process is. This is all new. I'm learning, but it's
have
all
you had
new.
any connections with the Iowa tribe?
That is, other than my cousin, no.
I was talking to the Lincoln County Commissioner, and he said if you have a tribal member living in the tribal nation, they will help you if they see a direct benefit to their citizen. That, and I want to think it's 120, but it might be a quarter section of where this project ends at Charter Oak and Luther. That quarter on the north west side is tribal land. It's in the tribal trust, and I don't know if they could either help facilitate monetarily, but they're not doing anything with that land, or at least help apply pressure to get this project moving.
If that is on the northwest quadrant, that would actually be beyond this 2 miles.
You've been in there, though.
Yeah, it's in there, but we could sure use our help for a REAP grant or something for the next.
Those are definitely conversations I can help you facilitate
Okay.
with the Iowa tribe.
Okay.
Land and trust brings open a whole new can of worms there, but it's not something that we can't work through. And I think as far as the utilities commissioner, I can help you on that. I would say let me reach out to Stephen, ask for an update on the plans, where we're at with the items that I requested from him. I gave him quite a list. So, and then also ask for a status on the utilities and a potential out by date. I think we have a little bit of time before I actually need an affidavit from you, and it's a very simple thing. It doesn't even have to go before the board. The district that this project resides in just simply needs to sign it. We need to get it stamped and it goes on. It does not need a vote. It does not need 3 signatures. It just needs the 1 plus a seal. So that's a very simple thing and a quick thing that we can get. So we have a little bit of time before we need to go that route. I can get you a potential out by date, but until we start having a more definitive timeline of when we'll get PS&E, that's when I would start really pushing on, let me get this out by date. I want a firm out by date so that I can get my commissioners to sign an affidavit. I think we're okay on that side of it. So I will, if you're okay with that, I will reach out to Stephen Frosch. I'll make sure that you're included in it. We'll make sure Julianne's included in it, and I'll apply a little bit of pressure.
Good. Good.
And you only have one on,
Yeah, anything on circle number 194 that we can do to speed it up. If I need to just do the engineering on my own, I mean, I will. Just, if you have time to check on that, holler at me and we'll try to speed that project up.
Only other question I had, Allison, would be, do you have any knowledge of when ODOT is going to start widening 105?
I do not. I can reach out to my friends and contacts there at ODOT and see.
Charlie, they're still trying to obtain right away. Those condemnation suits were just filed last week.
Okay.
So it'll be a
5 went out
while.
for interview back in September. Those contracts were let in to the designer. So they went to the designer in September. So around September, October is when they put those, and the designers were chosen for 105.
Yeah.
if there's something you need from us, Allison, just ask us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And the same, I'm here for whatever you need. If it's a day that I come with you and we drive out and look at projects, I'm happy to do that. Love to see our area and the people that we serve. I believe that's the best way to learn and to make progress. So I'm here for whatever you need, and my schedule is open to you. One of the things I would like to do that with each of you at some point is let's take a ride around and look at projects that you currently have under construction, projects that we have on the plan that is in the project development process. I would like to make a highlight on that on our website once we get that going. I have some pictures out in McLean County who I wrote out with Wilson. We have a BIP project, BFP. One of the acronyms for the new programs we had, they were doing one, and I took some pictures of it, and that road's turning out really nice. So I'd like to highlight what we are doing in our CDD and the progress that we are making. I think people need to know that.
They do.
And our CD needs to know that too. We need it. It's good rapport. It's good to see the fruits of your labor and what you're doing. So we're on this end of it, and we're pushing papers, and we're trying to fight through the project development process, but the reward comes going out and looking at that construction.
Sure.
So love to do that with you. Let me know what you have going and what you would like to go see, and I'm for it.
All
So,
right.
do you need anything from us today?
No, sir. I took some notes here, and I have some action items that I'll work on. If you have any, one of the things we've talked about our CED board meetings is scoping projects and getting ready for rebalance, and that's something we will start looking at and setting up over the next 2 months. Probably hit it hard after the holiday. So if you have anything that you want to look at, let me know. Let's get those project details and get that set up.
Well, I realize the bridge on Simmons across the railroad might be a long, drawn-out ordeal since we're dealing with the railroad. But I do know we also still need to pick engineers on both of those.
Okay.
Interview.
Absolutely,
Did you
we can
interview
set
for
those up.
Circle number.
No.
Happy to help you set those up, and make sure that ODOT gets the paperwork that they need. So absolutely. Let's talk later, and I'll get more specifics on the project, and I'll get with Julianne and make sure that we get those going.
So we have 3 on there that doesn't technically have an engineer designer.
Julie and I sat down and we went through 2024 in the SERG plan, and we looked at 2025. We looked at this, we began 2025. We looked at what needed designing, going, what needs a plan in hand scheduled, what needs encumbered that's still in this fiscal year, and you know, what do we have coming in the out? I really want to hit those 2 years hard, especially 24, obviously, because we're almost done with it. We're a little bit behind in 2024. So I'm trying to work with ODOT to catch that up. They're about a year in, but in that position, it takes a couple of years to really get your feet underneath you because there's so much thrown at you. So I'm trying to help them. You know, this is some shortcuts that we can take that still fall within the guidelines that we have to meet. Things that you can do at the same time, stuff like that. So I'm really working with the project managers at ODOT. Now Kendall's an old pro. He teaches me a trick or two. But you know, the young ladies there, we've worked closely together looking at our SERV program and what do we need to do to get some of these projects off high center. I really want to take a hard push at your SERV program because it's very behind. And I'm not saying Logan County in general, I'm saying CD as a whole. We are behind in our SERV program.
I think that's why we hired you.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Is to be that liaison between ODOT and 75.
And I hope that I do you justice on that. I spent a good part of my career at ODOT as a project manager, both on the state side and on the county municipality side. I did INCOG, not ACOG, but INCOG. It's a whole new beast. But
well, I'm an advocate of spending SERV money, regardless. Just spend it. And I was an advocate the first go around when they first came out with it, and they were wanting to set on that money a couple of years. And as soon as the state had a little downturn, they went fishing for money, and they found a whole bunch in SERV. And I don't want that again.
I'm with you. I do not think we need. I just got the clearance for Waterloo, by the way. I apologize. My phone buzzed. I'm with you. I'm an advocate of spending that money. I've seen it taken. If you leave money on the table, your legislature sees we're not spending it. You can't keep asking for more money if you're not spending the money that you have.
Right.
So I'm with you. I don't want to leave a large carryover, and that's something that I'm really trying to push.
Yeah.
So yes, sir. I think you're dead on there. We need to spend the money that we have so that we can say, look, we don't have enough.
Yeah, there's a difference in being poor and not being able to pay your bills poor.
Correct. Absolutely. Well, Commissioner.
All right, anything else? Allison, we appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad you came on board.
Me too. Me too. Thank you, gentlemen.
You're hanging out with a rough company there, but.
Well, I think we're done after today. He said something not very nice a while ago, so.
Go Pokes.
Well, I can't say anything. He brought cinnamon rolls, so you're gonna have to let them wear off, or we can,
We'll talk tomorrow when they're gone.
right?
All righty, item 7, consideration of possible action on a letter of support to OMES and ODMHSAS for Sheriff's Office application to receive funds in the amount of $144,262 to provide mental health and abuse substance abuse, I can't even see it, services within the Logan County Jail.
So,
Sure.
well, let me, before we go to him, just to update, we had did a letter of intent to the state saying, yeah, we'd like to apply for the state level opioid settlement funding.
Right.
At that time, we didn't know what we were eligible for. We didn't do, we just sent a letter and said, yeah, we're gonna apply. We have since found out that we are eligible for the $144,000. And the sheriff would like to use that.
I would.
Mental health, is this for inmates or?
Well, I mean, I'm sure get you an office over there if you need some yourself.
I definitely need it.
But this is different than what you're talking about, right?
Oh, it's,
Yeah, this is the one that you're talking about is through the opioid settlement, correct?
yeah, but I thought that's what this was.
This is 781 money.
So where did it come from?
Well, and that's another.
Well, back
that, I don't know what that means.
in 2016, of course, 781 passed.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
And this is the money that's been generated from 781 to be able to put back into mental health and substance abuse programs. So it's two
It's
separate.
pot funds.
Yes.
This is the savings that were going to be generated by those
Yes.
two.
Yeah, so finally they've got a funding mechanism to be able to do 781. And each county has a certain amount of money they can apply for based on population. And this is this is what's allotted for our county. And this letter is just the first to start that process. This has to be turned in by December 5th for us to start that daunting process, if you will, of trying to get the funding. So the state doesn't make anything easy.
This is all state funds, not federal.
It's all state funds, correct?
Okay.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we sign a letter of support for the sheriff, OEMES, and that other Oklahoma Department of Mental Health, and SAS, whatever that is.
Substance abuse.
Yes.
Services.
I'll endorse it. I'll second it. Excuse me.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Damon. I guess you're up next anyway. Consideration and possible action on agreement with next request in the amount of $4,491 for public request software portal for sheriff's office.
This is a conduit, if you will, of Civic Plus. It's basically a open records request software to be able to keep track. They can make requests through our website. There's auditing in there. That basically keeps us because a lot of things happen at the sheriff's office. We get a lot of open records requests. And sometimes they come through me and then I fill them. Sometimes they come through records, they fill them. This is going to put it all into one system that keeps an audit trail of where those requests are in the queue, need to be filled. Some requests will require approval. So if you got somebody that's wanting a copy of a body cam or something like that that may depict something that's not allowable for the public to have, then we can put those checks and balances to review that to ensure it's okay to release it. It's just kind of checks and balances of all the open records requests we get, and we have the funding to pay for it. So I think it's going to be a huge benefit, and hopefully no requests will get dropped through the cracks, if you will, because sometimes we get those requests that come in, one gets set to the side, and then they're calling. And this, as soon as you get it, you can enter into the system. Like I said, the date that received. You can set up notifications if one goes through 3 days or whatever it is, there's been no activity, then we get notified to go in and just make sure we're not leaving anything out.
I move we approve the agreement.
I
with
second
next
it.
request.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. You'll sign that, Charlie. Pass it down. Thank you, Damon.
Thank you.
Item 10, consideration of possible action on contract with.
None.
None.
All right.
You were going to skip.
worked mine
You're going
off.
to skip mine.
Already marked it off. I can't go back. Consideration of possible action on invoice from Craft and Toll in the amount of $17,058.80 for engineering services for ACOG safety projects and approved payment from CBRI account.
So is this the work for the signs and the
This is sign
striping?
replacement projects, this is all the striping, the 10 projects for each.
Now technically, we shouldn't have to pay for this unless we're successful at getting.
That's what I was getting ready to say. This guarantees, right, we'll be successful if we pay for this.
We may be going four times for this.
How long are these good for to keep turning back in?
You have to reapply every year.
We don't have to pay you again to reapply.
We'll just update the software. Update the forms and stuff.
Now, I still think we can bend ODOT on the signs on every road, not just major and minor collectors and street signs.
Well,
They're a safety issue.
The problem we have with that is with the estimates that we put in is basically what you're going for, and if your numbers go too much higher, then guess you all are responsible for that portion,
The additional money.
the additional money.
Jeffrey, was we able to squeeze Davis Road down on that, striping?
Honestly, Monty, I don't remember. But that's one of those deals that we could probably add.
Well, I think it's in that urbanized.
It is in the urbanized area, yes. But it was within the city of Guthrie.
You know, that's another thing.
Well, it's a county road.
It probably wouldn't hurt you to get familiar with, because you have, what, 4 counties, 5 that are dealing.
Inside the club.
It shouldn't be a county road, but it is.
That's the quagmire we had with it, that it was within the city boundaries, and
It's really not. They just annexed up to the edge of the road.
okay. Well, it shows on the map that it is.
I've argued that point, but trust me.
I'll make a motion.
I'm just saying that.
Mark, before you do, let me clarify on the CBRI payment. This is not part of any of the district's individual commitments. I'm just going to tot it as a group.
This is that fourth
to pay
commissioner
that.
money that we set aside.
So,
I'll make a motion that we approve the invoice to Crafton.
I'll second
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
it. Aye.
Aye.
Let's try number 10 again. Consideration and possible action on contract with Red Dirt Assessments LLC for data input for Assessor's Office for the period of December 2023 to January 2024, an amount of $7 for each parcel.
Mary, what does this, is this an outside contractor that you hired to help with a second opinion, or just to help?
It's to help with data entry for visual inspection for 2024. We have a deadline of February 1st to meet,
Okay,
and we're stretched pretty thin. And utilizing them for a couple of months will help us meet that deadline that OTC has set.
okay.
And paying it out of your budget, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You wish to do it?
I do.
I move we
Yeah.
approve.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Item 11, consideration and possible action on a resolution authorizing district to submit application for Oklahoma unpaid road program in improving Seward Road between Pennsylvania and Western in the amount of $75,000.
and the form, and I realize they got the form elsewhere, but it's set up just for the chairman, so the board will vote, but Lonnie will just sign.
I'll move with approve.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Trampus is gonna go look at the $50,000 to get it paid, and this will be an additional 75 to go to Seward Road.
So I was thinking that you had
I
$50,000
did.
grant.
This is putting in for the next one.
Okay, all right.
And he's working on mine. So.
Okay.
All in favor say aye. Did we already do that?
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 12, consideration and possible action on a resolution declaring the following equipment as surplus for District 2.
And because it took 2 pages, I'm gonna give it one resolution number, but I need signatures on both.
I move we pass this resolution.
I'll second it. Whole lot of stuff on there though.
Yep.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, the motion carries. 13, consideration and possible action on a resolution disposing of equipment for District 2.
These will be separate resolutions.
I move we'll approve this, and if anybody wants to buy some of this stuff, let me know here, otherwise it's probably going to the junk pile.
Charlie.
Oh, sorry.
You're willing to sell for me, but otherwise you're gonna throw it in the junk.
Well,
That's big.
one man's junk is another man's treasure, you know, you find.
I'm gonna throw it in the trash. If you want money, I'll sell it to you.
Oh, I wasn't thinking of you that way, I was thinking somebody that repairs these old mowers here or something of that nature, you know.
No wonder I went in there, Charlie's pig.
There'll never be another one of those.
You vote.
No,
You sure got a lot of grief over.
I'll second Charlie's motion. I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on it? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Thank you, Mark,
You might as well
appreciate
do
it.
a special one, just to get that out of the way.
Item 14, consideration of possible action on a resolution accepting $600 donation from Venice Oaks to District 2 for approximately 48 tons of rock to be placed on Industrial Road.
I move we approve.
I will second Charlie's motion. Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Consideration of possible action on a resolution declaring the following vehicles as surplus, disposing by donation to the Murray County Sheriff's Office. I will make a motion if Dana's on board with that.
Absolutely.
You know, if Charlie puts that junk that he has up there in the back of them, he can get rid of it too.
Can I hook some of those additional cars that's in my yard onto that when they take it?
And they are currently on Purple Wave. So
Okay.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on donating to Murray County? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries.
Charlie, you gave me your.
Yes.
I'm nothing on 16, but I do.
Sorry.
So
At least
no-
I didn't sign it.
No action on 16. Item 17 is consideration of possible action on resolution appointing receiving officers for various
I
accounts.
just have one for OSU Extension Office. They have a new admin assistant.
So we need a motion on that? We do. I move that we accept we approve this new requisition officer,
Receiving officer.
receiving officer.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Well, we had to do both, didn't we?
There wasn't one.
Okay. Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carries. 18, consideration of possible action on permanent road crossing permits.
Just have the one for rural water number 1.
Did that company get a hold of you yesterday?
Yeah. We got that taken care of. Thank you for.
I thought I'd run into you and I didn't.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't know anything about that meeting yesterday.
I did not hear one.
I'll move that we approve the road crossing permits.
Well, I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, the motion carries. Item 19, consideration of possible action on consent agenda items.
I will.
Obviously on there, interested, not interested. if they want to do the payroll.
Yeah, I think I'm in favor of it. Everyone else will be too, I think.
I know some people will be upset if you were.
Yep.
Twice this week, I've had someone call me about getting, one of them was their boring bit right in the middle of the road. And then this was some other apparatus in District 2 stuck in the middle of the road. I don't know any other way other than letting them dig to get them out.
You be careful on that, because every one of them will call you and tell you it's stuck, and it won't be stuck, just so they can dig it.
So how many of these commissioners meetings have you made so far?
I just like McLean and Kenny.
I think we all do it just a little different, don't we?
Yeah.
Are you still intending to go to that open meetings? 'Cause I am.
On the 11th.
Yeah, I'm afraid that one's gonna be the biggest one since it's in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, all of the other ones, I had them on my calendar in case I was free to be able to go, and something always came up. So this one, I really intend to try to make it too.
There's a Zoom meeting on the
Are we gonna do this
13th.
one for Steve Hagan?
There's
I
a
didn't
lot.
want to.
The Zoom meeting on the one for the 13th.
I just wondered if we were actually gonna sign this.
That's what I'm doing. I'm doing 13th.
You want a paycheck?
It'd be nice.
Okay.
Sent them an email yesterday. Did you get it?
I did. I didn't do anything with it but read it. I did, thank you very much.
Mr. Meadows,
Uh,
I sent you an email yesterday. Did you receive it?
I have not seen it yet.
I'm on the X.
However, I did not get on my email last night,
My
so
one course.
that's generally when I do.
Oklahoma State extension,
Mhm. Oh, is that in the morning or?
9 and noon.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was staying like that.
Okay.
I think I looked at it because it was a Zoom and
Yeah.
it
Pretty
confused
easy.
me. Because they also had one open records. I think it was here. Yeah. But it was in person.
Not missing, I know where it is.
And I really wanted to go.
I figured they'd be gobbled up by now.
These guys are all, you want a cinnamon roll?
Yes. I'm on a time frame.
No, unless he's trying to take them. Sheriff, would you like a cinnamon roll? It's like a donut but souped up.
No.
What? Hey. I only got those because of your actions last meeting.
I want you to know that.
Ma'am, would you like a cinnamon roll?
Email I received. I saw a request that you requested. So I sent you that.
Okay.
If you.
You saving them for Christmas?
Well, I tell you what, I saw it on my desk. I must have sent it to Jen also, and I saw it on my desk, just briefly looked at it.
Okay, that you got it.
Yeah, I did. It's- And I haven't been into the office yet this morning, so that's when I was gonna look at it.
Wait, what? Okay, Molly, I'll take one. I'll take one as I go.
And that pie you can take with your family.
What you could do is
All
just.
two of them?
The pie?
Yeah.
You only get one.
He has two
No, I have
pies.
two people at home, that's no problem.
Oh, 2 people at home? One pie is not enough for 2 people at home.
Yeah, so
They don't share, Bobby.
You don't share?
I think I can get a quarter of it.
That's
That's a little split thing.
That's them a roll and half.
Well, if they don't do like
Am I
a
on
quarter,
that one?
and every 4 hours, I'll make that quarter, space it out.
Is that the pie or?
Yes.
The election
Yes.
board, Monty, you're the only signer.
that don't be
I
rude.
don't want a big, you know, sugar dump and, you know, it's just.
I love
Alcoholic
them.
beverage tax.
They sure shoot me up.
Are they big?
Yes.
Oh, they're big, tasty.
Those are big quarters.
Really, Liz?
Yeah.
They all look about the
I've been
same
off
size.
lately. 22.4.
That's no meat. A no meat breakfast.
Hey, he's getting a little fruity on me.
21.7.
22.4. Hey,
Who's looking?
I want to guess $20,660.30.
I'm gonna
you're
drive
good.
it.
Best present
What
so
is-
far.
Is that it? 20,000?
You're big enough, I can taste it.
Oh, yeah.
I'll do a cigarette.
It's easy to open the box.
Yeah. Water must be good right now.
There's no reason to go.
Massive. You were really buttering it up today, wasn't you? Oh, he's taking a picture.
I'm sending it.
Send to service line.
That's what I was just gonna say, you send it to Linda and right in your
Yeah,
mouth.
that's fine. You haven't seen me put anything in my mouth yet. It's more than other some iced tea. Yeah, that's the only time she ever checks, so.
If Linda wants anything out of me, I don't know anything. I don't recall.
Okay. That one didn't come up in my Google search.
You know, I don't know where Missy's get their recipes. They are, as far as I'm concerned, about the best in the state.
Oh, that comes from
They're
this?
very good.
Yeah.
They really are.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion on consent agenda items? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries. 20, consideration and possible action on claims for payment for November 2023.
I do not pull those out when I'm top loose.
Drain District 2 time.
Very orange. Hey, Bobby, that's ugly. Who's every time out? They call me Listen, I love to hate.
Come on, I'm not afraid to admit it.
I love to hate Texas, but I'm telling you that they will do
I think they're going to give them a pass.
even on their worst years, they still cause some damage to your
Some kind of corn-fed boys.
steroided corn.
Steroid corn-fed boys.
When do we hear about all those? They made fun of them if they're turning in so many. I assured them I intend to be in money somehow or another. But when do we hear? I forgot.
When we
You'll start hearing stuff, they'll start being pulled into the meetings in January, February, and that's when you should start advocating you don't have to get them all, just, we can dribble them out, but it'll be nice to do them all.
Well, District 1 was awarded a REAP grant for this next coming year.
Yep.
They're gonna do down here so all the quick folks can get out. We're gonna gravel there.
Well, I had McLean, they were gonna repave a road, that was on their list to get striping, and they ended up moving that project forward to get the paving done so they could get it striped 2 weeks later.
I need a motion on claims.
I'll make a motion on claims.
I'll second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on claims? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all opposed, motion carries. Item 21, consideration of possible action on purchase card payment for November 2023. We're gonna have to visit about this purchase card.
Speaking about claims, I don't know that it was on this or next agenda at the next meeting, but Oklahoma County has finished the first mile on Waterloo Road that we partnered with. It came in, I think if I remember right, it was $165,000. It came in at $155,000. They've already started on the second mile. They gave District 1 the millings off that, so we just went and ran them a mile off. I told him, I'm not in an agreement yet. And he said, as long as you're good for the money, we will start that. And so it's in the process of getting overlaid now.
Is that from May over to?
The one that is completed, that
Yeah, I know where it is.
it's May to
Penn.
Penn.
Where's the next one?
Meridian to MacArthur.
Okay, so way on out there then.
Just a mile past 74 Highway.
Right. That's way out there then.
Charlie, you live in a bubble down there.
Yeah.
But it's nice in that bubble, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's my happy land.
Well, I'll make a motion
Yeah.
that we approve the purchase card payment.
Here, I've been to all 50 states once and 48 of them 2 or more times, and I live in a bubble.
Now, Obama said we had more.
It's a big bubble.
Is that a second?
I'll second it.
Obama said we had more
I got a
states.
motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
What did I say?
You
Oh, yeah, he
said
said 55, that's right.
Item 22, comments, announcements, questions by the Board of County Commissioners or other department heads. I'll normally start off with Stephen, but Stephen has been punching me here lately about this cargo trailer he's been wanting to buy. So we don't have it on here for any action today, but he would like to purchase this cargo trailer to put all their equipment in, I think the drone and ice chest and everything for.
And then I also, with the donation check that we got from the windmill farm, I ordered a bunch of cones and stuff to use with the sheriff's office, and cone bars and traffic signs and stuff like that we could haul out on, big seams or around the county where we need to block off roads and make it easier just to transport everything in one trailer down the road.
So the cargo trailer, he got an estimate on it at $6,195. The problem is he didn't put nothing in his budget, so I think he's asking us maybe to buy this out of general government, so.
Well,
Just something for discussion.
how about coming out of his paycheck?
I know.
He'll be wanting to take that thing down and get his face on a rack all the way around it.
Well, I was gonna put the EM decals, and then also I was talking to Lester at the sheriff's office, and he's gonna put the sheriff's office.
Where do you put the county's decal?
Yeah, the county decal on there. too.
Sheriff's budget.
Yeah.
I'm out.
So, a few months ago, I was driving down I-35 at a speed limit, since the sheriff's here. Speed limit.
Yes.
And I come upon this nice, pretty, one of those Dodge TRXs. And I'm like, I think I can race him. And anyways, he had a county emergency management tag.
Oh.
Some county in Oklahoma has bought one of those high dollar Dodge pickup.
No way, dude. A TRX?
You're asking for the wrong thing.
That's next year.
That's next year.
It'll be in the budget.
Higher, you usually get the lower what you're looking for.
Right.
Stevie,
Stevie?
anything else for us?
I have a question for you.
Also, on the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, at the last fire chief's bi-monthly meeting, we discussed that, and I sent out the paperwork for each of the fire chiefs to pick one area in their district that, you know, they were concerned about, so that way we could at least get started and get one going.
Good.
And so they're supposed to get me their stuff back by the next meeting. So.
Do you need this trailer?
It would be nice to have to, you know, store stuff in and then be able, you know, to haul all the cones and traffic bars and signs and everything.
Stephen, did you, I noticed this is Waterloo Trailer Sales.
Yeah, that's off Waterloo and Coltrane area.
Did you check with that company there on Pine?
No, I have not yet.
Are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So I don't know how they would compare them price-wise, but you might check.
I can check and bring
Yeah, unless
another
we're,
one back.
by approving this, we're obligated to buy this or not, I don't know.
You're not approving anything.
Okay,
This is an
okay.
election.
Oh, okay, okay.
That lawn on Pine, I think they manufacture them there, so technically all that money's staying there.
Right. I can check with them and get another one for the next meeting to bring.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
I
you
can
just
tell you
look
the
at their
advantage, the advantage of having a trailer is if Steve's on scene already and goes, hey, we're gonna need X, Y, and Z,
yeah,
then anybody can hook onto it and drag it to the scene. That's,
Yeah.
you know, I've always thought your mobile command vehicle or a trailer that anybody can hook onto and drag to a location. I think I like the trailer idea.
Anything else, Stephen?
No.
Damon?
Those are, Seminoles are good, thanks, buddy.
Roy? Mark?
Well, I've already ran my mouth about things.
Sure.
so, I don't know if I was the only one that got this email, or if you all got it regarding the, two fire departments, one being, Cashin, which is brand new, that has a very small part of Logan County, and then
Deer Creek.
I meant Deer Creek, and then Cashin has. Does Cashin have any sales tax generating businesses in Logan County?
Their convenience store.
There is a store there.
Okay, okay. So, according to Jeremiah, we don't have to, we can prorate the funding of those. Did you all see the email?
I have not, I didn't get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I sent it to all three of you
Okay.
with a copy of the resolutions that are on from me.
I'm just throwing out my thought on this, if this is not improper time to do this. But I certainly think both of those, particularly Deer Creek, need to be prorated there rather than get a full division of, I think it would be 14 fire departments. They have a very small part. There's a good side in the fact that they obviously are part of our mutual aid group and everything. But the downside is they don't generate any sales tax. And they have a very small area of the county. And so that's something I certainly want to look at.
But will they have a lot of people in that small area?
Yeah.
Well, Cashin has a pretty good sized area in Logan County.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
Basically, 74.
Yeah.
But my argument's always been is Crescent, I mean, that we serve part of Kingfisher County.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every fire department we have serves in other counties, but we don't get none of their sales tax.
Mhm.
I never understood that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, Mulhall and Orlando, they both serve in Payne County, Noble County. You know, Marshall does Garfield County. Crescent does Kingfisher
So
County.
Payne County doesn't share their their sales tax.
Not with that, not with our fire departments, no. We're the only county that I know of that's, you know, like we share with Kingfish.
Well, but just to clarify, 20 years, or in 2000, when the first sales tax went out for sale for fire departments, Cashin was left out of the mix. Cashin was brought into the mix because the law required it, because the city, they're a Title 11 department, and the city limits of Cashin enter Logan County.
Right.
And that is why. Deer Creek is coming in because of an election that was held that allowed the residents down there to vote to become part of the Deer Creek Fire Protection District.
So would Coyle be a Title 11? What?
Coyle is a Title 11 department.
Well, so don't the law require?
I don't know what.
It requires it for us. You would think it would require it for Payne County.
And I don't. I can only speak to why we had to bring Cashin in.
Well, I'm just saying if the law requires us to do
But
it,
I
it ought to
will
require them.
point out that the Fire Chiefs Association, so that would be all the current 13, are absolutely in favor of even distribution.
Yeah.
If you all want to re-examine that, we are on a tight deadline. That is on the agenda for Monday.
Well, if you did a pro rata, if you did land area, that wouldn't necessarily be fair to anybody.
No,
If you did
what Jeremiah
population-
expressed is it's based on population versus the area. And I guess Payne County has done that for Drum Rights Fire Department. Something about they get a smaller amount and it was a pro rata thing. Like I said, here it's been divided evenly since 2000.
Well, but now that we know it's a law, I think everybody ought to follow the law as best as we can. So Payne County.
But Coyle's, no, Monty, here's where you're missing. The city limits of Coyle does not enter Payne County. That was the hang up with Cashin. Not a service district, not a provide service in. The city limits of Cashin enter. Coyle city limits do not enter Payne County.
Right.
Well, maybe they need to annex a 20-foot strip out. All righty, anything else, Charlie?
No, that's it. I'm just expressing my view. I may call some of the fire chiefs and ask them why they are insistent upon having them a full division on that. I don't.
Probably because they hadn't considered it, Charlie.
Okay.
You know, Jeremiah asked that I make sure that we threw that out there.
Yeah.
It's
The fire departments chose that. I don't understand.
I don't know that
Yeah.
there's,
I don't think the fire departments knew that you could prorate it.
I think you.
And when they came, this is just speculation on my part. But once they realized that they were going to be a part, then they were behind a full division. I don't know. Time to tell. I'll call some fire chiefs. Yeah.
No, it's too late. It posts today. So I either take it off the agenda and then we will have to have a special meeting. I have a time deadline legally to get this to the election board.
If you prorated 2 or 3, wouldn't you have to do all?
No, because the idea is,
But when they divide that money up, wouldn't it be a prorated share of population?
not according to what it was explained. It was explained because they're actually based over here. Deer Creek's down in Deer Creek. This residential, the others are Logan County Fire Department.
Yeah, totally.
That's what set them separate.
Yeah.
However, that agenda will post today. I can pull it off the agenda and we can try to look at special meetings. We are on a deadline to hit the election date.
Well, could we not do it on the 8th? We got a meeting the 8th then.
And we can.
Yeah. I think that'd be a good deal. That give us a little bit of time to check with them and see. I just.
Does that give you enough time?
Well, yes and no. Because whatever you choose to make the changes, they gotta go back to legal. Be completely redone and redrawn out on the paperwork, come back to be approved and signed, and then get to the election board. So yes and no, I mean.
I think it's 15 years. I think it's important that we try to get it right, because that election is gonna go for 15 years.
But I will say, it's not illegal to do what we're doing.
No, I know that, yeah.
And it's a can of worms, I don't think they're.
So we don't have to do action on Monday.
No, I mean, you can take no action. And I'm just saying, we have a deadline by law to get the paperwork filed with the election board to hit.
I
Well,
suggest
March
you call the
5th.
fire chiefs and, Jeremiah.
yeah, yeah.
I'm personally okay with how it is.
Are you?
I get that sometimes it's gonna be fair, sometimes not fair, and the real truth of the matter is most of these outlying areas don't come to Guthrie to shop. So it's the Guthrie citizen paying for everybody anyway.
Well, all I know is the fire department has come in, they wanted to include Deer Creek. I mean, they had the fire chief here with
Yeah.
them when they came.
Yeah.
So, I'm-
But they didn't really have a choice on including them.
Yeah, but I'm just like you, I don't think they didn't have the knowledge of knowing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll,
So if you wanna check with them,
I'll
sure.
check with some of them.
Sure.
I'll call some of them and see.
All righty, any more comments or announcements? Hearing none, item 23, consideration of possible action on adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Thank you for the fire.
Troy, do you need this?
Absolutely.